nightclub doesn't help. I know I was going to talk on Google Plus tonight. I hate to ruin the party, but like my ADD got the best of me, and my mind of what I'm really thinking about and wrapping my head around got the best of me too. So I want to focus on that immediate thought, which is forget about the why, focus on the how of social media. We'll talk a little bit, take 2 minutes to talk about Google Plus. My good friend Guy Kawasaki, world-renowned author, many of you know who he is, evangelist back in the 90s for Apple, running a book now called What the Plus, Google Plus for the Rest of Us. Got a lot of valid points about what Google Plus is really all about. People are like, Google Plus, I'm just getting on Twitter. I get that, but they grew to 100 million users in a very short time. The important thing to understand is everything you're putting on Google Plus is getting indexed on search engines. So if you want an SEO strategy, not trying to steal anybody else's thunder, I know somebody's talking about SEO, but if you want to have an SEO strategy, make sure you have a social media strategy. Google Plus, everything you're sending out there. One point that I did read in Guy's book was that if you want, never forget that Google can redirect traffic anytime they want. Number one. Number two, they're not giving up. And number three, they have an unlimited supply of cash. And you think they're going to let Zuckerberg win? It's just not going to happen. So Google Plus is definitely a lucrative platform where even if you're just sending content out, where you're sending it, you're tweeting it, you're posting it, make sure it's going out on Google Plus. I can't tell you how many times I get a phone call, people going, hey, are you still doing that social media boot camp in Coral Gables with that drill sergeant? I'm like, that was a year and a half ago. But it let me know that everything was indexed, and it reminded me that I need to do another boot camp because all that stuff is showing up when people are searching for social media boot camp, social media Miami, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very, very important. Google Plus is not going anywhere, in my opinion. A guy like Guy Kawasaki, who in my opinion is a legend in the digital space, to be able to step up and write a book about it and really embrace what's going on, I believe that, again, it's Google. It's Google and it's Bing when you got search. That's it. And their algorithms were adjusted, I think it was last year, year before last. Everything you're posting, everything you're tweeting, footnote, will be there permanently. So if you want people to find what you're looking for based on the content you're sharing, it's very, very important. Any Gary Vaynerchuk fans in here? All right, awesome. Write his name down, Gary Vaynerchuk. The book's called Crush It. The second book's Thank You Economy. Dear friend of mine, if it wasn't for this guy, I probably would have never launched Social Buzz TV. I read his first book, Crush It. The antennas went up, and his consistent message with this was, all of these tools are free and available. You can build a brand for nothing, zero. I'm living proof. I built a brand with a bus pass, running around with a flip cam that Jeff's holding right here, telling everybody I'm gonna have the best brand on the planet and the best show on YouTube. Hoping that was going to be the case, and it became a reality. 2 years later, fast forward, I wear bow ties and people pay me to talk about it. So as far as social is concerned, it's not going anywhere. I think there's a lot of skeptics in the room. Has anybody ever felt skeptical about social media? Nah, I don't know, maybe it's, you guys are here on the C Tweet Up, so I hope nobody's been skeptical. But in the event you didn't get the memo, the genie's not going back in the bottle at all. And one of my favorite quotes that Gary said was that social media is overthrowing governments in the Middle East. You really have the audacity to think it's not affecting your business. And I thought that's so powerful. I have it on my email signature, and it goes out to every single person I know. They're like, well, I don't really do, everybody heard, I don't do the Facebook or I don't do the Twitter. Friends, those aren't dances. Those are reality. We're in the midst of an amazing shift in the way we communicate. And the best part about it is that it's just the beginning. It's a sleeping giant. Gary says this is like the national anthem of a doubleheader. It's just the beginning, and that's the exciting part. You know, it's like, how do we get everybody involved? We don't. We keep it all to ourselves, and we allow it to continue to incubate and grow and explode and build our brands based on it and let everybody else catch up. It's real simple. You can be proactive now, or you can be reactive later. So how do you do social media? Another huge player in the industry, write his name down, Jay Baer. It's Baer spelled backwards, B-A-E-R. Good buddy of mine, brilliant quote. The goal is not to be good at social media. The goal is to be good at business because of social media. Nothing's ever changed. Everyone judges how many followers do you have, how many likes do you have. None of that stuff matters. If all we had was email addresses, when you came to our website, it would say 10,000 email subscribers, because that's all we have is numbers. But guess what? 10,000 likes, 100,000 followers. If 10 people are talking to you, guess what? Your numbers don't matter. Twitter's replaced the telephone. Does anybody agree with me? Does anybody remember the gatekeeper? What a nightmare it was to get through him or her or whatever the case was. Now we send a tweet. We don't have to ask for permission anymore. We just send a tweet. They might respond, they might not, but we at least have the opportunity to show up on their cell phone first thing in the morning. In my opinion, that's powerful stuff. Search.twitter.com. Hands down, one of the most powerful websites on the planet. All of the information, all of the news, anything we want is on that website. Number one. Number two, who agrees that news breaks on Twitter before it breaks on CNN? I knew we had Osama on Twitter before I even turned on the television for the first time. That is powerful information. I was in Times Square about 6 months ago. I got cast for a reality show on Fox, and I had to go meet with the show executives. First time in Manhattan, and I'm in Times Square like this, like a kid in a candy store. Holy cow, this is great. But one thing I took from it, no one was walking around going, wow, that's a cool billboard. Wow, that's awesome. Everyone was like this. What were they doing? Maybe sending a tweet? Maybe checking? We no longer have to look for news and information. It comes directly to our fingertips. And in my opinion, that's powerful information. And it's not slowing down at all. Just as soon as we get acclimated to Pinterest, to Instagram, to Facebook's changes daily, something else comes up. What is next? Will Facebook be replaced? The crazy, I know everybody in this room kind of fearful thought is yes. There will be another giant that comes on the block. They will always have a substantial place in this market, but they're never going to go anywhere. It's just not going to happen. And I think that the message that all of us really need to ingrain into our minds and really understand and continue, whether you're teaching someone about social media, you're managing a brand, you're helping people understand, whatever the case may be, let people understand. This is reality, friends. It's not, I don't do that Facebook thing. If you tell me you're not on Facebook, I no longer want to associate myself with me. You know why? Because you're shady. Am I lying?
You're right.
If you're not on Facebook, all right, Twitter, I'll let you slide for another couple months. But if you're not on Facebook, what are you hiding? That's really the reality. You need to become that go-to source. Think about how your family has always treated you. They always treated you. They got your back no matter what, for the most part. They always do. What about going into every situation and every scenario with a client, prospect, whatever the case may be, with no expectations, going, I love this individual, just because I had the opportunity to meet them and engage with them? What happens then? What does it feel like when somebody really gives a rip about you and cares about you? What does that feel like? It feels awesome. Imagine if you did that for clients, customers, and prospects. Imagine being that go-to source. If I've ever helped anybody in this room ever with social media or anything pertaining to social and helped you better understand what it's all about, by default, if you walk off a plane and see my book for 20 bucks, you're gonna buy it. By the way, it'll be out next year. Social media sucks. If you don't know what you're doing is the title. So you're walking through the airport. My point is, be that go-to source. It's like that friend you can call for anything. That friend called you right now, called the ship, $12 a minute, text over Wi-Fi and called and said, listen, I need you to hop on a helicopter and get back here tomorrow. I mean, it might be a little difficult, but I mean, first thing Monday, would you not be running straight to that individual? Imagine being that brand. Imagine being that go-to source. What happens then? If you're looking for an Italian restaurant, what do? You flip through the yellow pages? What are those? I used to put my kid up on so she can sit up to the table, but that's really the extent of it. We're not looking for what we need. We're gonna Google it, but we're gonna call a friend first. That's the most important part of being that go-to source for your brand. Having people just know you care, going, it's a no-brainer. If you sell widgets, that's your widget guy. Why? Because that guy always answers questions. He's always got jokes. He always responds to my. Gary Vee is an icon in this space right now. There's not one time that guy doesn't respond to an email or a tweet. Takes him a week, takes him 2 weeks. And when I was first getting started, when I'm like, hey, I'm over here. Hey, Gary, I'm thinking I was gonna maybe corner him for his book signing and get a quick interview. The guy stopped, sectioned off an entire section of the bookstore, and we sat down for an hour. And we did 4 takes. He busted my chops about this, that, and the other, and had a great time. And I'm thinking, this guy is the reason that I'm in business right now. But what was it? It wasn't anything else, that he just cared. It was just genuine. Authenticity trumps likability. Anyone agree? You can like me, but if you don't better understand what I'm all about and the ins and outs of it, you're not going to do business with me, because there's always going to be something like, is that guy really on Facebook? Again, if you're not on Facebook, you're shady. I talked about SEO. Google and Bing, they regulate the search industry right now, and anything going on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, a blog, Google+, again, they're either a Google+ product, standalone, or they're being indexed on one or the two. So again, I want to reiterate the SEO part of things. I'm not an SEO guy. And I followed up on Gary's comment last year on SEO's dead. It's not dead, because social is kind of resuscitating where it's at. The whole first page Google thing, I think social has really helped resuscitate that whole program. But again, I know somebody else is talking about that, so I may be semi-wrong here. I tell everyone that it's your decision right now whether or not you want to get started with social. And again, everybody is started with social because you guys are on a tweet up right now. It's a social media driven cruise. This event is happening for the second year in a row because of social media. Because of a group of individuals that are all in this room right now, near and dear friends, had a crazy idea to not get off the ship, but we had to really collaborate and say, hold on, we've got something here. We've got some of the most powerful voices in South Florida sitting at the table right now. Why not meet for drinks in a couple weeks and go pitch Norwegian on what we're doing here? We did it. It became a reality. We knocked it out of the park last year. Norwegian got excited about it, and they asked us back. Here's where we're at right now. It looks like a handful of people, and I believe that we're gonna need a much larger space in the coming years because it's going to continue to grow. There's a lot of buzz, no pun intended, on what's happening here, but it's all driven based on social media. It's a part of our lives. Who we are in our personal lives is who we are in business. There's no more separation. It is there. And one last thing, the content that is going out, it's not to sell your crap. No one cares. When I say crap, we all know what shows up in news feeds. Click here, buy this, do this, buy that. It's not. It's about providing what people want to hear and meeting people where they are online. And it's about collaborating marketing, advertising, and content all into one. Remember, content is king, but marketing is queen, and she runs the house. So that's all I got to talk about tonight, guys. Thanks for your time.